Disney ditches MCU 2027 release date for the Simpsons movie. Whoa! That sounds like there might be a problem. Probably. So once again, here we are at Cosmic Book News. And you see, all I did was read you the headline. You thought I thought of that on my own. No, I didn't. It was Matt McCloy. Yeah. So there's Homer. He's all happy. He gets his movie. But Blade, at least Simu, your Shang-Chi got one movie. Poor Blade. What did he get? So far, nothing. Because I don't know, Marvel just can't figure out how to write a vampire movie. Yeah. Disney has opted to ditch. I would have said dump, but it both work, a Marvel release date, and instead go with a new movie for The Simpsons. Marvel Studios previously had an untitled release date set for July 23rd, 2027, but that date will now be for The Simpsons movie. The news follows recent reports that Disney will be focusing on original IPs. The Simpsons is not an original IP of Disney. But it's probably doing a lot better than Marvel. Anyway, instead of Marvel and Star Wars, to lure back the Gen Z crowd with The Simpsons. I mean, The Simpsons pretty long in the tooth now. Anyway, and how Marvel is on the decline, it is no longer a guarantee. So they've already reached the point, well, let's move on. So what was this mysterious Marvel movie? Well, the untitled Marvel movie hasn't been given a release date, but it was supposed to come between Doomsday and Secret Wars. Yeah, I thought despite it, Brand New Day comes out before Doomsday, right? So, okay. Anyway, it's unknown what the MCU movie could have been, but interestingly enough, it lines up with the speculation Shang-Chi 2 isn't happening, which comes with Simu Liu's recent Superman comments and a photo that he posted of himself to Instagram. Yeah, he said, hey, how come Superman gets an announcement for a sequel this soon? Man of Tomorrow and all that. But Shang-Chi still hasn't gotten any word on whether there'll be a Shang-Chi 2 or not, Well, we know why. And then he posted the photo of himself while on the set for Doomsday, and he looked really depressed and sad. So possibly he got the word that there isn't going to be a Shang-Chi 2, and probably Shang-Chi doesn't survive Doomsday. Now, of course, with Secret Wars and multiverse shenanigans, reboots and whatnot, they could come back from the dead. But odds are, no. Maybe there'll be a Shang-Chi movie sometime in the future, but it'll be someone else. Probably not going to happen at all. Anyway, it's also known that Marvel put Blade on the back burner because, again, it's really hard to come up with the guy who fights vampires as a plot to a movie. It's tough. Some fans also thought the 2027 release date might have been for Doctor Strange 3. Well, that's not happening. Hey, he's one of their main guys, But anyway, with July 2027 release date canceled, that presently only leaves one Marvel movie getting released in 2027 with Secret Wars. Following Captain America, Brave New World, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four underperforming, the MCU is on a big hiatus until the releases of Avengers, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. Sony's Spider-Man Fall also gets released prior. Yeah, and since it's a Sony outfit, kind of, sort of, it counts, but then it kind of, sort of doesn't. And that'll probably be the only Marvel movie that does well for quite some time. I mean, you know, maybe they can gin up some excitement for Doomsday, but I mean, it's a Hail Mary pass to begin with. But the problem for them is they can't repeat what Infinity War and Endgame did because they don't have the movies that built up to it. And movies should stand on their own, but by the time you get to something like that, Infinity War, as much as I enjoyed it, is heavily dependent on the previous movies. And you really don't have anything. They tried, there was a plan, you know, it probably wasn't any good. And then their star, John Majors, got into a scandal and stuff like that. These are eras what are you going to do? I mean, now you could have recast him, and with his narrative of being, you know, all these alternate versions of him, he just, well, he looks different, doesn't he? You know, and move on from there. But it's so bad. It's so bad they had to go and beg Robert Downey Jr. to come back. Now, they were probably going to do some kind of cameo with him anyway, you know, for this ultimate climax of multiverse shenanigans and rebooting and everything. But, oh, man, these stumbles, you know. When you're deliberately going out of your way to infuse everything with your identity politics, narratives, and whatnot as paramount and prioritized above all else, including story development and all that, well, you can't afford any stumbles. Well, there's always going to be some, yeah. All kinds of stuff can go wrong. But right off the bat, you just trashed the entire legacy of your IP, and you thought that would work. Well, it didn't. Well, as far as The Simpsons go, The Simpsons movie first hit theaters in July 2007. Good Lord. Opening to $74 million and finishing with $183 million domestic, $536 million worldwide. Directed by David Silverman, has proved that a long-running TV series could still draw big on the big screen. Well, way back then, you know. It's been a while. Been on 20 years, so which Disney is obviously again planning on with Duty 7 film. Well, it'll make money. It'll do well. I think so. Maybe it won't do as good as the first. I don't know, but it'll do better than a Marvel movie. That's for damn sure. And boy, do they realize it. So what do you got next? You got Spider-Man: Brave New Day, Avengers Doomsday, Avengers Secret Wars, and that's it. I mean, after Secret Wars, the idea is everything has been shuffled and changed around, and you're going to recast some characters because it's a reboot and everything. Because they're supposed to do this battle for Doctor Strange and Nightmare and all that. Because remember, his movie, last one, if anyone remembers. I mean, more people showed up for that one than the later ones. And we're all disappointed and everything. Because you forgot to do the homework for WandaVision, you know. Yeah. But nevertheless, it ended on a cliffhanger with his third eye popping open again. Yeah. That, they're going to resolve that, or they're just going to throw in some crap in the middle of Doomsday or Secret Wars and call that a wrap? I guess. I don't know. Maybe one of these movies is Doctor Strange 3. But after you've rebooted everything. I don't know. One of them has got to be the X-Men. Maybe Blade's in there. But after the Fantastic Four's performance, is that even going to be one of them? I don't know. But whatever they scrapped, maybe it'll get moved to that. But whatever it was, they just like, whoa, we can't afford any more of this. Because the sad thing, well, maybe not Brave. Brave New World in and of itself was just, it's kind of sad. It was pretty lackluster. I wouldn't say it was an awful film compared to some of the, you know, pieces of garbage they dumped out before it. Thunderbolts I actually like, you know, but nobody knew what that was, you know. And Fantastic Four, well, it could have been worse, you know. But again, pretty watered down and lackluster overall, you know. Had Galactus, it looked cool and stuff, but yeah. And that's that. So it was probably going to be something akin to that. And they realized it, like, ooh, take it down. And Hail Mary Pass is Doomsday because of Robert Downey Jr.'s in it. We're going to have all these cameos. And everybody gets about 5 seconds. What's the Nightcrawler actor talking about? I didn't even know who I was acting with. There's a bunch of guys in a green room with green suits on, and I did my lines, and that was it. Yeah. Yeah. Hell, it might even get cut. You just don't know. So somehow, some way, that's going to work. You know, it's. But it just reminds me of Battle of the Network Stars back in the old days. You know, look, it's them, it's that. You know, and then like they would have specials like Gilligan's Island meets the Harlem Globetrotters. Yeah, stuff like that. So you can expect that kind of gimmicky nonsense for Doomsday and Secret Wars. Will that work? Will that save Marvel? Well, time will tell.